Hello everyone, Kairofu here, and we're back again with the brand new hero, the Lizard. I have already looked through him, and I am excited to go over this with you guys, because from what I have seen and gone through, he makes the Fierce faction a lot more prevalent possibility for team building than they were before. I think this is really good because honestly, I've seen Fierce skipped over in a lot of the main teams, and I think this guy can kind of turn that around and make the Fierce faction kick back in with a lot more force. And I'm hopefully going to be seeing a lot more Fierce teams out there instead of the usual Agile Meek combination. And so, let's begin to go over exactly what makes him so amazing. So, his talent will automatically increase how much your shields can block by 50%. So having this with any other heroes that can make shields is great because that'll increase those by 50%. Currently I do a lot with shielding, especially with my rabbit and my panda, so having those shields available is awesome. So he's going to help boost that for sure. Present, enemies can receive from their teammates only 50 speed, so he's going to limit speed. And my favorite at level 3 is what this basically is saying, other than the bad English, is that this will grant your highest attack hero one extra move each round, which is incredible in general to just be able to nuke away your enemies by having your highest attack person go twice, which not only is going to give them an extra attack, but also increase the amount of energy they're going to build within a round. Because, of course, you get about 50 energy per attack. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you get a lot of energy for an attack rather than being attacked. So having your highest hero able to gain the energy faster is going to be a lot nicer as well. So let's go into the warrior a bit. So we were able to deal damage to all targets on the back row for 300% attack damage, and grants all heroes on its same row a shield that can parry damage equal to 100%. So we do 300% attack to the back row, and we can parry damage equal to 100% from that shield. And they're also immune to control, so that's great as well. And at later levels, in 2 and 3, we increase attack and crit of the heroes in the same row as well. So a nice buff to go along with those shields as well, which, remember, that shield's also going to stack with that extra 50%. So anything you see here, 100% of attack, whatever that is going to be increased by 50%. So our passive, like we'd expect from a warrior, is based on when we're attacked. And so it looks like here we're going to have a debuff to start with the attack by decreasing your target's attack by 10% for 3 rounds. We also, at later levels, decrease crit by 15%. And at level 3, we can see we recover HP when attacked. 8% is nice. I say if you're facing an enemy around the same level, their basic attacks are going to do about 8%. So you're about going to cover what their damage they're going to do to you in general, not counting what shields you have going on. You crank up those shields, you're going to actually be gaining HP from that. So it's a huge boost there. Makes them really sustainable. Plus the debuff for attack for 3 rounds. It's going to be really nice to have there in the front row. Already amazing capabilities as a tank. So last level 4 is when attack 30% chance to reduce attack's energy by 50. Like we went over, having energy to do those ults attacks is important. If you're able to reduce your enemy's capability of building up those ults, you can do a lot of damage to them and keep them from doing a lot of damage to you. So automatically we see the warrior, great tank capabilities. I think this is going to push Fierce ahead a lot, allowing him to do a lot of tankage here. Automatically huge thumbs up for the Lizard Warrior. I actually am hoping to try some Fierce factions out with him here soon. So let's go over the mage real quick. I naturally expected a lot of debuffs from him, and he deals decent damage to all enemies as we expect from a mage, 150%, and we do poison damage, dealing 60% attack more damage for 3 rounds. We reduce the healing amount received by the target by 50%. That's nice. That's a lot. We can really help us against teams that do healing, so definitely in campaign where they like to heal a lot. Additionally, reduces the target's armor by 100% for 3 rounds. Reducing target's armor by 100% of their own, so pretty much get rid of their armor, it seems. That's pretty nice. 4 round starts, we increase the block of all your heroes by 10% for 3 rounds. So that's a nice passive to begin with. So we're automatically increasing block of all your heroes for 10 rounds right before the round starts, by 10% before the round starts. And that will stack up to 3 times as well. So up to 30%. Before the round starts, poison effect on enemy deals damage 1 extra time. Damage equals 60% of the original damage. So we can do extra damage of up to 60% of the original. So this automatically, like I've seen with a lot of mages, says stack for that status ailment, so that poison. Stack it, stack it, stack as many poison heroes as you can get to stack up with this. Is going to be a killer team combination to hit those poison effects twice, with the other one being slightly lower. It's just going to be great. So deal some more poison with him, and that's going to be an incredible lineup possibility right there. Level 3, before round starts, reduces crit of all enemies by 10%. So we're doing more debuffs as I expect from the mage. 4 round starts, freezes 1 random enemy hero for 1 round. Anytime you can do a freeze, it's nice. Being random, it gives it some limitations. You may not always freeze a hero that's going to really help you out. But anytime you put a hero out of commission, it can be nice. So that freeze at level 4 is definitely going to be nice. It also ignores shields and cannot be dispelled. So definitely good stats debuff. If you get a lot of other poison healers on your side, can help increase damage by a ton. Definitely say it's a good possibility if you build some Fierce with him. Stacking up those poison damage is going to be key for the mage. And has possibly huge output, especially if you build a good tank lineup that's going to survive and continue putting out poison. It's going to be nice. Let's move on to the assassin. So his active attacks in his back row 2 times, each time dealing 390% attack damage equally distributed between all targets. So 390% equally distributed is going to be about 130% damage per target 2 times. So we're looking at about 260% attack per each one on the back row, which is a solid amount of damage. Automatically doing back row, which is normally going to be where your more squishy, higher damage dealing heroes are, which is nice. Being able to kind of nuke them down is always a plus. Causing poison again here, like with the mage, doing 30% attack damage each round for 3 rounds. Extra damage is always nice. So we also recover own HP with this ult for 150% of attack. That's going to be nice. Deal 80% extra damage to controlled targets. So automatically, if you put him with other targets that do freezing, any other control type like stun, it's going to be nice. It's going to stack with him. Before round starts, increases own attack by 10%, up to 4 stacks. So we have, of course, as we expect from Assassin, a lot of self buffs. Hit, ARP, and crit up to 4, so up to 40% of each of these, which is nice. In general, I'm not terribly impressed with the Assassin. I can see him doing possibly a lot of high damage and boss attacks, but in terms of regular play and campaign and stuff, I definitely don't see him being very useful. Which is a shame since I recently drew 2 of him. But definitely can see him doing a lot of damage in boss attacks, and that's sort of going to be where he shines with all that self increase of stats. But in my opinion, nothing terribly impressive, especially compared to the other classes. But let's look at the Ranger. While we're here, attacks all targets 3 times, dealing 50% attack damage and causing bleed. So 150% damage total to all your targets, plus a bleed that does 35% attack damage each round for 3 rounds. Oh, we're able to reduce the target shield by 15% at level 2 and attack by 15%. Which is always nice to have those high debuffs, especially we don't expect from a Ranger who normally just is AoE damage. That's always a plus. And we're going to freeze the mage and knight targets for 2 rounds. Whew. So all mage and knight targets are going to freeze for 2 rounds. That's definitely nice. Present targets do bleed damage and extra 60%. So again, good to stack with things like sheep, who do automatic bleed damage already. Present all bleed effects caused by your heroes last 1 extra round. So again, stack some bleed on this guy, and that's going to help out a lot. When present, every stack of bleed reduces the target's block by 10%. So again, more just stack bleed, because you're also going to get the crit by 5%. Stack some bleed with this guy. It's going to be great. There's a lot of times people are always wondering, oh, what am I going to do with these lineups? And they're putting a poison and a bleed, and then wondering why they're not doing as much damage with all those different status ailments. Is because normally you want to stack the same. And these are reasons why here. You want to stack with these that bleed. And for example, the mage, you want to stack that poison. And that's what's going to do tons of damage with those status effects over time. Because you want to stack on stack on stack those that have the same. And they're going to do tons of boosting to damage that way. So keep an eye on that, especially when building team comps when you decide to throw Ranger in. Remember, if any of yours actually help affect those bleeds, or maybe try throwing some in to see if that'll help you do a lot more damage. Because honestly, that's where this Ranger is going to shine a lot more, is on teams that are focusing around that bleed. He also, just remember, does good freeze to mage and knights, which is a plus, and he has a basic debuff of shield and attack. And that's to all targets, so great capabilities. Like I said, it's about how you use them and where you put them, but if you do the right things with him, I think you're going to maximize your damage output, especially in the Fierce faction, which is known for their damage. And like I said, this guy's going to really help put the Fierce faction on the map, so keep a lookout for this. I can definitely see a lot of Fierce factions competing with that Meek Agile and possibly really cutting them out of the picture and helping provide more options for team comps that can really just crush damage output. Lastly, we have the Knight. So we're going to deal 500% attack damage, which automatically is a lot to any single target. It reduces the target's armor by 100% for 3 rounds. So we're going to reduce their armor by 100% and deal 500% attack damage. This is definitely going to be a great class for nuking out a tank. If the target has a shield, it steals the shield. Another great way to nuke out a tank is steal their shield as well, increase your survivability and decrease theirs, and freeze the target for 2 rounds and can't be dispelled. Automatically, this is amazing. I think the active in and of itself is almost incredible enough to make this usable on his own without even having to go into the passive, but let's go ahead and look and see what he does. So when present, increases crit res of all your heroes by 25%. So just on the field in general, just increases crit resistance of your heroes by 25%. Also when present, every time fierce heroes attack, they cause bleed. So automatically more bleed, dealing damage equal to 35% of Lizard Knight's attack. 3 rounds. So this is just fierce heroes again. What's going to help really boost the fierce hero faction up a lot more is these abilities that help boost fierce damage in general. So this is just constantly stacking bleed. That's going to be a lot of damage. 6 heroes constantly doing 35% of lizard attack bleed. So build him up with a lot of attack, and this is going to be a lot of damage. So when present, the effects of healing, quantity reduction, and speed reductions caused to your heroes by enemy heroes are halved. So that's always nice. So any healing reduction or speed reduction is going to be halved while he's present. When your heroes attack, burn targets, crit chance increased by 20%. So another boost to burn, which is automatically done. Oh no, that's a bleed that's automatically done. So if you have a burn, you also have a chance to increase crit chance. I was confused slightly as to why burn targets instead of bleed, since he does bleed, but I think if it were to do any more buff based on bleed, he would be incredibly overpowered, so I kind of understand that, but coming out with burn is slightly confusing. But I guess it gives more possibilities for a variety of team comps, because if you're automatically doing bleed, you can also stack burned on this, and so that makes that a very plausible team comp. Since you're automatically doing bleed, stack in some burns as well, and you do that increased crit chance. So Knight overall, great. I highly would recommend the Knight class if you're gonna stack that bleed effect. Go Ranger. If you're gonna stack that poison, go for the Mage, and then the Warrior. I think is just a great, capable tank class to throw in a lineup if you find yourself really in need of that strong tank that can fill a variety of roles. He's where you want to go. So I think that basically goes over him. I also wanted to point out real quick and just remind everyone to do all these quests and complete these. This is an easy way to gain rewards and help gain you a lot of stuff from this class. So keep a lookout for these and make sure you get those quests done, because that's a great way to get these as well. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I'll gladly get to you. Feel free to like and subscribe as well. I like to continually post stuff up for you guys. I've been a bit behind on trying to get some of the tier reviews out to try and give you guys an idea of my tier list for each faction and possible team comps to go with what. I've been trying to pull that stuff together so I can get a good comprehensive video out there for you guys without rambling on for minutes to hours. That's the last thing I want to do in a video, is to give you guys a nice, clear, concise overview. Hopefully that'll be out before the end of the month. Alright guys, thanks again. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you later. Bye.